responsibly and stay safe. Oh, Joe, you guys have been asking for all of the second half of the year. Well, here, Nightcap Discord has launched. The link is pinned in the chat. Ocho, Ant-Man and the T-Wolves moving to the fourth in the Western Conference thanks to a
Mm.
117 to 108 victory over the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Minnesota beat Denver for the first time in 4 games this season. Ant-Man had 21. Bones Highland had 15 of his 18 in the first half. And Minnesota sweeps its 3 game road trip to improve to 38-23, jumping to fourth in the West. Minnesota now moves a game ahead of Denver in the Western Conference. There's just 2 games separating the third seed, which is the Rockets, and the sixth seed, which is the Lakers. They got an outstanding performance in the fourth quarter from Naz Reid, who
Hmm.
looked like Kobe Bryant. He did an in and out, got an and one. He did an
Yeah.
out and in, and threw it up with a left hand. He got that, hit a big three. So he played unbelievable. They got great contributions. Ant Man didn't go off like he had been in the last couple of
Right.
games,
Right.
but it was a total team effort. It
Hmm.
was too much for the Joke to overcome Joke and Murray, but they got sloppy with the ball late in the ball game. Ojo, watching this game, what did you like about what Minnesota did?
I mean, every Nas Reed obviously being able to insert himself towards the end of the game. I think that made the difference in it. Ant-Man not having the game that he's had the past previous games. Obviously, he's been on fire. He's been hot, but he was efficient enough. I think he was 9 for 19. He had 21
Mm-hmm.
points, if I'm not mistaken. Outside of that, it looked they look good. They look good, and obviously, the goddamn Nuggets didn't help themselves, turning the ball over and missing some opportunities and chances
Mm-hmm.
to score in vital moments that could have changed the outcome of the game.
Yeah, they didn't really get the contribution they needed from Cam Johnson tonight. I think he was an
Right.
over. Yoke is going to be Yoke. I think he was what 35, 14, and 9.
Hmm.
Jamal Murray came on strong late. I agree with you. The turnovers late to give him a big break in the fourth, but they had to bring him back a lot sooner than they wanted to because the game started to slip away. But give the T Wolves a lot of credit because every time the Nuggets made a run, they quelled it.
Yep.
Somebody
Every
hit a
time.
big three. DiVincenzo played unbelievable today, especially in the first half with those 4 3 pointers. Naz Reed picked it up in the fourth quarter,
Hmm.
hit a big three, in and out, out and in. Did some great job. They did a great job of rebounding the basketball. They just got to do a better job because I thought, the start of the game, the way the Nuggets started off, I'm like, damn, they might sweep this series
Yeah.
here. And the next thing you know, here come the Nuggets. Here come Ant-Man, DiVincenzo, all those guys making contributions.
Hmm.
And they ended up winning this game. But it's going to be, look, I think for me, the class of the Western Conference is OKC still. They got Shea back, and he comes
Hmm.
back. They play the Nuggets in his first game back. He drops, I think, 35. And he didn't play in overtime. He didn't play late in the ball game because they didn't want him to overextend himself
Right.
in the ball game. They want to gradually build him back up.
Hmm.
And thankfully, they didn't need him because I know that was really tough to watch a game of that magnitude. And now they've already given you a minutes restriction, saying, well, you're
Yeah.
not going to play over this. I don't care what the circumstance called for, even though it was a close ball game, late in the ball game, and they could have definitely used him.
Hmm.
They've guys, Caruso did a great job down the stretch. But looking at this ball game, Ocho, they're going to have to find a way. This
Hmm.
is why they got rid of Michael Porter Jr.
Hmm.
because they felt in situations like this, and maybe he wasn't a good fit because you look at what he's doing
Hmm.
with the Nets. He's a guy that could legitimately be a 1 or 2 scorer,
Yes.
but
Hmm.
he was never going to be anything more than the third
Hmm.
scorer here because you got Yoke and you got Murray. So
Hmm.
Cam Johnson is going to have to be. He's more equipped to that, and his
Right.
mindset is
Hmm.
more equipped to be a third option because
Right.
pretty much that's what he's always been. And in that situation, I
Mm.
just think he has to be better. He hadn't been good in a couple of games. In order for them to get to where they need to
Hmm.
be, he's going to have to be that third piece.
Hmm.
Bruce Brown does what Bruce Brown does. I
Hmm.
like what Brown does,
Hmm.
but wasn't enough today. Give
Listen,
Minnesota credit. Minnesota played a heck of a ball game.
yeah, Minnesota played a heck of a ball game, but for me, and I think about mentality, I think about confidence, especially when it comes to any sport. Right now, the specific topic is basketball, and for Cam Johnson, I think he needs to insert himself a little bit more. I understand that there's a pecking order when it comes to shot selection and who has the green light to take as many shots as they want to, but I think players like Cam Johnson in that role of when Jokic is not doing well, when Murray's not doing well, I need to insert myself into the game. How do I do that? I already need to be in rhythm. I need to have some type of confidence about my game where I don't feel scared or I don't feel nervous or gun shy to take certain shots. And there's only one way to do that. is being able to get yourself in rhythm and find ways to insert yourself into the game, even when it doesn't call for you to do so. And I think if he's able to do that late in ball games in situations like this, then he'll be able to insert himself and feel okay about taking certain shots where it means much more as opposed to the first 3 quarters in the game where it matters between wins and losses.
Well, I think the biggest thing you mentioned confidence is that getting into a rhythm early. It's hard to miss all those shots and then because shoot or shoot, but the
Yeah.
confidence goes a long way. And because he's struggled the last couple of games, he was
Hmm.
0 for today, scored
Hmm.
0 points. Um, uh, um, and I'm looking at Yoke with 15 of 26, 1 of 4 from three, but he was 35, 13, and 9. You look at
Hmm.
Jamal Murray, 25, and wasn't efficient at all. He was 9 of 22, 2 of 6.
Hmm.
Christian Brown was 15 points. He played really well. Uh, Strother gave him only 2 points. You got two of your starters, Ocho gave you 2 points. 2 points, and they played a combined 40 minutes. You can't
Yeah.
have that. Uh, Valanciunas, 2 points. Hardaway Jr. played well. He was 5 of 6, 3 of 4 from the three. Bruce Brown, 6 points in 34 minutes. Um, but they just got to find. They got to find. They got to find a third option because you know exactly what you're going to get from Yoke. And sometimes people just going to have to see, look, we can't stop this man.
Yeah.
Jokic's going to get somewhere between 30 and 40. He's going to get
Hmm.
somewhere between 12 and 17 rebounds, and he's going to get somewhere between 8 and 12 assists. We
Hmm.
just can't let him get 40, 20, 20.
Right.
That's what we got to stop.
Hmm.
So we're not going to stop him from getting those, 28, 29, 30 points. He's going to get that. He's going to get the rebounds.
Hmm.
We've just got to control him getting those 15, 18, 20 assists because he's getting his points and he's getting other people involved. Once he starts getting other people involved, now what do we do? Because we
Hmm.
can't leave anybody. There is nobody that's going to be able to deal with him one on one. So you try to make it as difficult as you possibly can,
Yeah.
and maybe you let him go one on one and says, "Look, I'd rather give him." Well, the Clippers tried that, and then he ended up getting 56 and 13 and 17.
Yeah.
But I can't let him get 15 assists, Ocho. I can't let him get 18, 20 assists
Hmm.
because he's going to have somewhere between 20 and 30 points. He might even get 35, 40. So now he has 40 and he's contributed because of those 15, 20 assists,
Hmm.
at least 7 of them on 3 pointers.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
you can't have that, but they're going to have to find a consistent third option.
mhm.
Cam
I mean,
Johnson has been in these moments before. He won a championship, if I'm not mistaken, with the no, he's on that team that ended up losing to Milwaukee. But
yeah.
he's been in pressure situations before, and he's just going to have to come through because right now he's not playing well, and I don't know what happened. I think he did have an injury, Ocho, so I think he
Mm.
might be coming back from an injury. But that look, they don't do excuses in pro sports.
No.
You don't. Either
Mm.
you do or you don't. And right now
Yeah.
he's not doing. Go ahead. What you want to add? Oh, I forgot. And Drew Randall. Drew Randall played an unbelievable game. Now, he didn't have 25, 30 points, but I thought the 14, 9, and 7 that he did have came at a very opportune time. He did a great job on the glass, but I thought all the auxiliary pieces, look, they're more, and McDaniel played well. They're
Yeah.
more than just Ant-Man. I know Ant-Man gets a lot of the pub, and
Hmm.
rightfully so, because
Yes.
he's electric. He's a dynamic scorer. There's
Hmm.
nothing he can't do. He can block a shot to save a game. He can hit a
Hmm.
clutch three to win the game.
Yeah.
He can play outstanding defense when he wants
Hmm.
to sit in the chair and guard. But
Right.
he's a consistent player, and we know what he is. He's a superstar. But when you get contribution from Randall and McDaniel and DiVincenzo and all those guys start to
Hmm.
chip in, now it makes them difficult. Rudy Gobert was Rudy Gobert. He gave you 6, 8 points, 15 rebounds. And so that's what he's going to do. But I thought overall, I thought Minnesota going on the road, the end of this road trip, and
Yeah.
going to Denver, and that's not an easy place. And plus, the Nuggets have been playing well, even though they lost a tough game the other night to OKC.
Okay. See.
But when you dealing with Yoke and Murray, and we know what those two guys represent, they're as good as duo that we have in this league. They can
Hmm.
put you in the pick and roll. Obviously, Yoke can hit the three. He can roll. He can hit the mid range. Jamal Murray sensational. You see him poke on Rudy Gobert.
Hmm.
So he's sensational. He can hit the three. He can in and out you. But I was surprised how well Minnesota withstood everything that they had going on, especially the first quarter, to withstand that. Because I'm looking at it, and they had like a 12-point lead, and then they cut it down
Hmm.
to like 5.5. And next thing I know, the T Wolves up 7. I'm
Hmm.
like, well, damn, that was
Yeah.
quick, and it didn't
Hey.
take a whole lot of effort. Um, But we'll see how this thing play out. I think they got about 20 games left, Ocho,
Yeah.
in the season. And when you got the kind of closeness between
Hmm.
3 and 6,
Yeah.
obviously you want to stay in the sixth spot because you
Yeah.
don't want to go into the play-in. So you want to
Mm.
try to maintain where you are. You want to stay in
Yeah.
because right now the Lakers are in the sixth spot. And so you got the 7, 8, 9, 10 are in the
Hmm.
play-in tournament.
Right.
You don't want to get into the play-in tournament. You don't want to play you want to play as few games as
Hmm.
possible.
Hmm.
And playing those, obviously what is it? Seven plays 10, 8 plays 9. So obviously if 7 wins, they're in.
Yeah.
Whoever wins the 7-10 matchup is in.
Hmm.
And then a situation like that, and then the losers play each other for the chance to be out, finish up the 8 seed. So you got OKC that's 47-15. You got the Spurs are 43-17. They lost, got blown out today. The Rockets are 37-22. The Nuggets are 38-23. Excuse me, no, the Timberwolves are 38-23. The Nuggets are 37-24. The
Hmm.
Lakers are 35-24.
Hmm.
Phoenix is 34-26. Golden State's in the 8th spot. And it's reported that Steph Curry is going to be out another at least 5 games. And I don't
Right.
know where they get offense without Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Yeah.
Portland is in the 9th spot at 29 and
Hmm.
33, and the Clippers um, fading. Obviously,
Hmm.
they're not going anywhere. Kawhi
Yeah.
alluded as much. He said, "I think this season is already over." They're 27 and 31, so that's where they are right now.
So,
That's the rankings.
I mean,
Uh, Go ahead.
right now, with the rankings where they are right now, where we are in basketball season with 20 games left. I mean, based on your expertise and watching the game and your knowledge of the game over time, if you were to take your picks now for coming out the East and coming out the West, playing in the finals, who would you have to this point right now? Unless some team just comes out of nowhere and does something extraordinary, the last 20 games and shocks everybody.
I think OKC would really love somebody to knock off San Antonio because the
So they don't
team
have
that
so
gives
they don't
them
have
the
to
most.
deal so they don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, they don't have to deal with Wemby
Right.
and those guys. That's the team that causes OKC the most problem. Um, Me personally, I think it's probably going to be San Antonio and OKC in the Western Conference Finals, but you
Yeah.
never know because Ant Man has been there and done that before.
Hmm.
So he knows how to rise to the occasion. The Nuggets have won a championship before. I just think the Rockets. I'm surprised the Rockets did not get a point guard. Chris Paul was there, and maybe they didn't want to deal with Chris Paul, and I don't know what that issue is, but
Right.
they need a point guard, and they don't have a point guard, and I
Mm.
think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest hindrance to them. Phoenix, okay, Book is out. Dylan Brooks has a broken hand. How soon can those guys get back? Do I
Right.
think even with those guys back, they can contend in the West? I do not. I do not think they have enough firepower to contend.
Right.
The Lakers don't play good enough defense to contend. We saw last night Austin Reeves get blown by Aiton. I don't know. I just don't know about him. I just don't know. Really, all things being equal, I mean, look, I think there's 4 teams seriously that could end up in the Western Conference Final. That's
Right.
Denver, Minnesota, San Antonio, and OKC. Those are my teams that I think can make it to the Western Conference Final with
Hmm.
realistically,
Right.
you make me put some money into something that matters to me, and if it's my money, it matters.
Yeah.
I'd probably pick OKC. I probably
So
pick OKC.
the double back again and win a championship.
Yep, yep. The Knicks